Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Friday live stream. Excited to have you here. Let me see if I can tilt this camera up a little bit so we can get a little better angle. Okay, so again, welcome. It's our Friday live stream. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. We're going to be going over a few items of streaming news, and then if you stick around, we're going to be playing a streaming quiz game, I guess. Whatever. You're all going to be competing for fake internet points, but it's fun. I promise you, we're going to have a good time on today's stream. So thank you for joining me. Now, I am going to this week announce the winner of last week's giveaway, but I'm gonna wait a few more minutes. We're gonna give people, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes to trickle in, and then we'll get to kind of that other stuff. But for now, let's start with first of all, a reminder to go to the description, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, go to the description. There's a link there to the giveaways page. Last week, we gave away or I guess we're going to announce the winner today, of the Fire Stick 4K. So the Fire Stick 4K, we were doing that because last week we were talking all about how Roku and YouTube TV were fighting. And so we decided, hey, it would be fun to give away a device that doesn't have anything to do with either of those companies. So we did an Amazon device. This week, actually, we're doing another Amazon device, but this time I wanted to do something a little bit, out of this streaming realm and get into the smart home stuff, since that's another vertical that we cover here on this channel. So if you go to the description, click on the link, you'll see that you can win an Amazon Smart Plug. Now, you can use this with your existing Alexa, if you have one. I don't want to say it too loud because she's always listening. But even if you don't have one, the smart plug actually would work if you just download the Alexa app on your phone. I can't say it. It's so hard because she's going to yell at me if I say her name too loud. But anyway, you can download it on your phone and use it there as well. So even if you don't have, an Echo device, you can still use the smart plug. So head over to that page. Entering to win is super easy. It's essentially, follow the YouTube page, follow us on Facebook, visit us on Twitter, follow us on Twitter, that sort of thing. So we will look forward to seeing you all enter there. Usually those entries are open for a week. We close them the following Thursday night. So you've got a few days to enter. Go ahead and bookmark that page. We're constantly updating it. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, yeah, we'll wait. Okay, so we're going to announce the winner of last week's in a few minutes. Today, let's start with the news of the day. This broke yesterday. You might have seen it. Maybe you didn't. And that is that Variety reported this. I don't know if they're the ones that actually broke it, but they put out the news yesterday that Quibi did officially sell its shows to Roku. And Roku has a date now when they're going to release all of those. Yesterday was May the 13th, and they announced that on May 20th, so 1 week from yesterday, they're going to debut, I think it's 30 shows. So here, let's actually pull it up here. Let's make it a little bigger. Roku set to release 30 Quibi shows for free. So if you're familiar with the Roku channel, which, by the way, you don't have to have a Roku to get, you can watch the Roku channel on Fire TV. I haven't checked it on Chromecast, but anyway, so on the Roku channel, they're going to have these new shows. And they're making a real push for it, too. If I can pull up their website. You log into their website, and oh boy, there go the Jets already. Wow, early on in the stream. Here we go. Let's actually pull the mic closer so you can hear me. Okay, so if we pull up their website, this is what you are greeted with, is this little montage of, welcome to Roku Originals. Hey, all original shows. These are all Quibi shows, which, hey, if you were around for the Quibi thing, you already knew that. And if you weren't, then, well, maybe you didn't. But anyway, point is, they've got all these new shows, these Quibi Originals that they're throwing on there. I watched a few of these. I watched Most Dangerous Game. I didn't watch Dummy. I watched some of Punk'd and Chrissy's Court. But anyway, point being, some of the content is actually pretty good. Quibi wasn't very good just as a concept. It turned out I was kind of excited for it, but then it turned out to be a bit of a dud. But some of the content really was pretty good. And so I'm excited to see if it's any more pleasant to watch these things on Roku. So Most Dangerous Game is a great example where it's a really standard kind of action movie, suspense movie. Most people are probably familiar with the premise. Rich people pay to hunt this guy who needs money, and if he can survive the night, then he gets a pile of cash. It's an old story. It's a really standard action movie, but on Quibi, because they wanted it on your mobile screen and they wanted it in bite-sized chunks, the Quibis, they called them Quibis, they chopped it up into 10-minute segments and released them, one day after the other, and it was excruciating to watch. It was really bad. So I'm hoping that this will kind of take care of that. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see how it goes with those. But that's the biggest news from yesterday. The other news that you guys may have missed, unless you were paying close attention, is that YouTube TV and Roku, we talked about their issues with each other. And no, there is no YouTube TV app yet on the Roku store. But there is something that you can do. I thought this was brutal and kind of hilarious and makes a lot of sense. So I can't show you on the TV here because it's only on the Roku version of the YouTube app. But check this out. Okay, this is gonna be really awkward. Okay, but we're gonna power through here. Oh, there's my microphone. Okay, so I'm gonna go on my Roku down to my YouTube app. Okay, now watch this. Oh boy, this is really struggling. Alexa, turn off the TV lights. Okay. So now, once we're in YouTube, I'm going to go to my left here. That's really hard for you to see. Right down here at the bottom. YouTube TV. They integrated YouTube TV into the YouTube app. Now, I'm not actually logged in there at this point, but Alexa, turn on the TV lights. But I thought that was hilarious, and it makes a ton of sense. Like I said, this is not crazy. This is definitely it makes a lot of sense to kind of put the two together to a certain extent. I have thoughts about them naming it YouTube TV, but that's all right. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. If you are a Roku user and you use YouTube TV, you have not lost access to it. You can actually just go now get rid of one of those apps, presumably. I mean, don't get rid of your YouTube TV app yet, but we'll see if this kind of sticks around and if this is something that then they roll out on, the YouTube app for Fire TV or even just, on your PC, on your browser or whatever. I wonder if they'll integrate those anymore. We come here for the awkward camera angles. Yeah, that's what I'm known for, I think, right? Oh, there we go. So, who said, I told you so, Craig? Do we need to make mugs? Do we need to make mugs that says Zachariah is always right? Oh, whoa. Doesn't even read comments. I saw your comment at the beginning, George Hall, when you said you're new to the channel. Thank you for joining us. Of course I read the comments. No, we have done streams in the past where we've had thousands and thousands of people watching, usually when it's a bigger event. And on those ones, it's too much. I literally cannot. It's not that I don't want to. I cannot read all the comments. And so I don't even try. I just power through. But on a stream like this, where we've got a few dozen people in there, no problem. I can read the comments. So George, I'm great. I hope you're doing well also. Now, I know we've got a few more people in here now. I hope you enjoy coming in for these live streams, going to the description for the giveaway page, catching up on the streaming news. But today is going to be a little bit different. I've done some things in the past where we've done brackets. We've done, live polling and that sort of thing. Today we're going to do a quiz, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. This is, and so I'm gonna. Oh, come on, camera! You can do it. You can do it. I know you can. Come on. It's sometimes it has this problem with like zooming in on the wrong thing. Okay. So, sorry, where was I? We're going to be doing this streaming quiz. You're all going to be competing against each other for fake internet points. I'll tell you what. How about whoever wins the 7-question quiz, whoever gets the most points, that person, I will answer any question you've got within reason and within my area of expertise, or within this channel's area of expertise. So streaming and TV and internet and mobile phones and plans and smart home security, whatever. So I will give you carte blanche. You can ask any question you want within reason, and you got to keep it clean and civil and all those things. But that'll be for whoever wins this quiz. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and pull it up. Here we go. Okay, so this is the Great 2021 streaming quiz on Reviews.org. Yeah, it's a big event. I hope you're all excited. It's going to be awesome. So here's what we're going to do. I've got a little whiteboard next to me. I'm going to keep track of who answers the question first. Now, I've got people on YouTube. I've got people on Facebook, and I can see comments from both of those places. And so, whoever on whichever platform, whoever answers first will get the point. Clean, yeah, clean and simple. That's not fun. Well, maybe not, but that's how we're playing. So, correct score. Yes, everything is entirely up to me. I make all the decisions around here. So, sorry, where was I? Yeah, well, it'll just be 1 point. I have 7 questions. Whoever scores the most points by answering first correctly will win that point. So, for example, here is the first question that I've got for you. Get your phone thumbs or your keyboards ready. Here we go. We'll start with a pretty easy one. In what year was Netflix founded? In what year was Netflix founded? All right, I'm going to be watching these comments like a hawk. It's always bothered me that the comments are over here on your screen, but I have to look this way. So it looks like I'm not paying attention to you guys, but I'm actually looking right at the comments. All right, George guesses 1998. Jessica Gillen guesses 1997. Jessica is correct. Oops, the correct answer is 1997. Jessica wins a point. Okay, so Jessica Gillen, here we go. All right, and you're on Facebook. All right, so Jessica Gillen gets a point. 1997. Well done. 1997. It was started in 1997, and they were going to do DVD sales and rentals through the mail. They eventually, after not very long, abandoned the sales portion of that and just did the rentals. So if you were born before, like 1995 maybe, then you probably remember the Netflix DVD envelopes in the mail. It was huge, even when it was just DVDs, it was a big deal. This is how I watched. I used to binge shows on DVD this way. And so you can find people still, people got their friends' DVDs and then just never returned them and kept the DVDs. I did 24. That was the big show in the early 2000s. 24 was huge. And I would order every new disc of 24 after I was finished with one and just went through. So I signed up for the 2-disc thing so that I could binge one disc and send the next back, and keep up the rotating cycle. Anyway, so yeah, 24. Yeah, George, that was one of my favorite shows back in the day. Okay. So, yeah. Oh man, Blockbuster. So Blockbuster was that's how I ended up with the massive DVD collection that I have now. It's not massive. I shouldn't say massive, but it's a large DVD collection, and it's because of the Netflix $4 bins and $5 bins when they're done with the rentals for some movie, and they just chuck them all in a bin and say, "Hey, you can buy them for $4." And I would just go in and buy 10 DVDs at a time or something. So, okay. So, shall we get to the next question? So that was Jessica Gillen, got a point on that one. Let's move to the next question here, which is, what has been HBO Max's biggest debut to date? We're talking about the stuff that was going to be theatrically released, but then because of COVID and the HBO Max coming on the scene, those movies that they debuted. So we're talking Wonder Woman, Justice League, Mortal Kombat, and Atomic Breath guy, Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla versus Kong. So, all right. So, what has been HBO Max's biggest debut to date? All right. So while you guys ruminate on that, I'm going to double check. Yeah, I thought I knew the answer. I had to double check. Okay, so we're seeing some, let's see, Wonder Woman, Monkey v. Lizard. Tatiana D is the first one to get it right. The correct answer is Mortal Kombat. In the first week, 3.8 million households watched Mortal Kombat. So Godzilla vs. Kong was at 3.6. Wonder Woman 1984 was at 2.2 million. Zack Snyder's Justice League at 1.8. So there you go. Mortal Kombat, believe it or not, has been the biggest first week release on HBO Max so far. So Tatiana gets that one correct. Let me write your name down. Here we go. Okay. Well done. And who would have thought, right? Mortal Kombat. And so, have you guys watched the new Mortal Kombat? I have. And it is ridiculous. And still kind of fun, kind of good anyway. Not good. Nah, that's the wrong word. It's not a good movie, but that doesn't mean it's not a fun movie. Yeah. Okay. So I'm with you, Zachary. That astounded me. Actually, I would have guessed either Godzilla versus Kong or Wonder Woman. I was shocked that it was Mortal Kombat, that it was that high. And what I assume is that Mortal Kombat is kind of standing on the shoulders of the ones that came before. So Wonder Woman comes out, and everybody signs up for HBO Max to watch Wonder Woman. They're like, oh, hey, HBO Max is actually kind of good, actually. And this is exactly what HBO Max's plan is, right? AT&T wants to make their property big, and this is how it works, right? So people sign up to watch Wonder Woman, and they're like, oh, HBO Max is great. And then Godzilla versus Kong comes out, or whichever one, I can't remember. Justice League came out next, and so you get this other group of people coming in. They're like, hey, I hashtag release the Snyder Cut. I want to watch this thing. And then they just stick around. And so each release, like Mortal Kombat is not, let's see, which of these is a good movie? Tough to say. But it's not about the quality of the program. It's about it is a big release that people are going to be talking about. And so you want to watch, and you've already signed up for the service. So you're going to hang on to it for another month to get that next thing. And I think that's why Mortal Kombat is where it is. So what was it? Even though they don't spell combat correctly. I don't know. Okay. It was so good. Tatiana says, it was so good. I was thoroughly entertained. Okay. So, let's see. Let's go to our next question. So we've got 2 points so far. One for Jessica Gillen, one for Tatiana D. All right. Next question is, what traditional TV provider owns Sling TV? Okay. This is one of, if not the first live TV streaming services, kind of the cable replacement, right? And Sling, if it wasn't the first, it was at least one of the first. It debuted back in 2015, and it was a project and is a project of a traditional TV company. I'm not going to tell you which one. We're talking, cable and satellite, that sort of thing. So, there it is. That was Andy came in first. Nope. Sorry, it was Andy on YouTube. So, Meredith, you were very quick after that, but it was Andy first with Dish. So, let's see. Yeah. Andy Graining. All right. So far, it's 1 point for each of you. I need somebody to come in and break the tie. So yeah, Dish. Dish, obviously, that's a satellite TV company, and they started Sling. And one of the smartest things that I think Dish did was they didn't call it Dish Plus or Dish Online or, Dish without the dish or something. They recognize that, hey, this is a brand new space. The telecom industry, and TV providers are included in that. They aren't they aren't in the best of odor all the times with customers. They have middling to poor customer satisfaction scores usually. And so Dish said, why are we going to put our name on there? Why don't we just call it something else? The one nod that they did have for it was this little part of their logo they put right here on Sling. And so if you really know Dish, you might spot that, but most people aren't going to spot that. And they just created this thing out of whole cloth. They were the first ones on the scene, and they have done pretty well for themselves in the streaming game because of that. So, Jessica says, it sucks as bad as Dish, though? Nah, I don't think so. I don't even think Dish sucks. If you ask me, it's how do I put this? One of the philosophies that we have used for a long time at Reviews and that I take to heart is that everything is right for somebody. And so, hey, if Dish doesn't work for you, fine. I'm not going to argue with you on that. But I've done videos in the past where it's, I crunch the numbers and I'm like, hey, for this person in this situation or this geographical area, it makes a lot more sense to sign up for Dish than it would to try to, stream your TV. So it all depends on your situation. So yeah, Meredith, you were pretty close. Sorry about that. Is my neighborhood being strafed by jet fighters? It is not, but thank you for your concern. I live about 2 miles south of an Air Force base. And they tend to take off in my direction. So I get the loudest noise. They take off, go, and then they head off over my house. They do a big loop, and then they land on the other side of the Air Force base, and they're quieter when they land, right? So, oh well. But no, not getting strafed by jet fighters. Okay. All right, let's go on to our next question. We've had 3 questions and 3 different winners. All right, so I want all of you to do your best, but especially Jessica, Tatiana, and Andy. I need one of you to break this tie, okay? So we don't have a tie at the end. All right, here we go. Roku holds the largest streaming device market share in North America. Who is number 2? This should be an easy one. All right, who is number 2? The second largest streaming device by market share. All right, waiting for the comments to start rolling in. Who's it going to be? All right, the answer is Fire TV. Roku comes in at 37%, Fire TV at 22%, and the first Fire TV that I saw was David Rakowski. I'm sure one of those is right. So David scores a point. And David, you're on YouTube. All right. So David with another. Okay. He said said, you got it. I don't know which one I got it with, though. So one of those two was right. So yeah, it is Fire TV. I think it's followed by, I want to say it's the Samsung Smart TV operating system, and then Chromecast after that, if I recall off the top of my head correctly. All right. Amazon is, let's see. Oh, you know what? Let's see. SpongeBob SquarePants did say Amazon. Oh boy. You know what? I'll give you a point too, SpongeBob. That's a good point. I was looking for Fire TV, and so it didn't register that you had said Amazon. That's a good point, though. But I'm giving a point to both you and David. All right. Can't believe Apple TV isn't the largest. Oh, I can. When you've got devices that are selling for, the Fire Stick, if you get it, the Fire Stick 4K, let's say you get it on a deal for $40, right? And then you've got Roku streaming sticks that are $40, $50, or you can go with the Roku Express for $20. And then you look up the Apple TV 4K, and it's $180. It's a pretty easy choice to make for a lot of people, unless you're really, really invested in the Apple ecosystem. It's a lot to it's a large price to get over. Anyway, all right, let's go to the next question. Discovery Plus. How many different networks are on Discovery Plus? Now, keep in mind, this is an open book quiz. You can go Google it. You can open up your Discovery Plus. You can figure it out. Or you can just go and guess. And I'm just going to take the first person who gets it correctly. This is going to be a little more difficult, right? So Discovery is a parent network. Yes, there is the Discovery Channel, but the Discovery Network, or the Discovery Network of channels, network of networks, whatever, they own a ton of different networks. And in this case, I am counting the Discovery Plus Originals channel on Discovery Plus. They have a certain number of other networks that they own, and they funnel all those shows into Discovery Plus, and they have created and will create more Discovery Plus Originals. I am counting that as a separate channel. Jessica's coming in a little high at 55. Rhonda is the first 20 that I've seen. Rhonda, you are correct. It is 20. Oh, there you are, Rhonda. 20 different networks. Oh boy, we've had five different winners so far. You guys are killing me here. Okay. Oops. We're gonna go to what was I gonna? Oh yeah, let's look up Discovery Plus. I'm just gonna show you guys what I'm talking about, because it's pretty astounding when you see it kind of laid out, how much stuff they have. Let's see if I can get logged in here. Okay, are we getting all blurry again? Come on, camera, you can do it. You can. I promise you can do it. Okay. That's all right. We're just going to pull this up anyway. Okay. So if you log, let me get rid of that. Well done, Rhonda. But if you log in to Discovery Plus, this is one of the things that astounded me the most. I had no idea. Like, I had read the articles. I'd done the research. I knew that Discovery owned a lot of channels, but then I got in and saw what they got. So, like I said, Discovery Plus Originals, that's a thing. HGTV, Food Network, TLC, ID, OWN, Travel, Magnolia. That's is Magnolia? Yeah, I think they're on cable providers. But what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 with Discovery Life. So 20 of them. Now, so George says, I don't use Discovery Plus. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, this is one of those things where I don't use it all that often either, but I still love it. And that's probably partly just because of how much I watch the streaming industry, but also partly just because it's got content that a lot of people are very interested in, and they do a good job of laying it out for you to see. I think it's a fantastic streaming service if you're into the content that they're providing. If you are more into like scripted dramas, then you're probably not going to like this as much. But if you like unscripted TV, whether it's the Food Network or HGTV or Chip and Joanna Gaines stuff, it really is. It's quite good. So, all right, let's see. Jessica says it's all I watch. Well, there you go. There you go. And that's the other thing. John, thank you. That's a great point. It's a steal for the price. So many of these services. HBO Max is $15. Netflix is $14 now. You got these things that are coming in higher price. And then you've got, take Apple TV Plus, which is, if you don't have a deal, which you should, they're giving it out like candy. But if you don't have a deal, it's $5 a month, and you get X amount of content. Whereas with Discovery Plus, it's like $5 a month gets you crazy amounts of content. It's amazing. Like, check this out: MythBusters, 21 seasons, 8 seasons of Dirty Jobs, 39 seasons of Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives, and so on and so on. Like, it really, like John says, it's a bit of a steal. Okay, so let's keep on moving with our quiz here. So 20 networks on Discovery Plus. All right, we need somebody to break this tie. Here we go. Next question. How much will Netflix spend on content in 2021? Go ahead and Google this one. You can figure it out really quickly. This is, according to the latest reports. We'll see what the actual number ends up being when all is said and done. But that's funny. The patron saints of Waco, Texas. If you think my wife hasn't talked about, what if we moved to Waco? You'd be wrong. There it is. I saw somebody come in with Zachariah Tollison, $17 billion. That is correct. $17 billion for Netflix. It's a crazy amount of money. All right. Okay. There you have it, 17 billion. Now, the thing about this number that you've got to know is that it's not just original content that they're spending this on. They are also using this for, they are also using this to license more content. So, movies that come out or shows that they can still get their hands on, they're going to use some of that money for that. But that is the number that they have told shareholders that they're going to be spending in 2021. $17 billion with a B. Incredible. Just incredible sums of money. So yeah, and there's some debate about this, right? Too much money. I like Apple's focus on quality over quantity. I mean, Zachariah, I don't know how long you've been watching the channel or watching me, but I have been singing Apple TV Plus's praises for a long time. I'm not even an Apple guy. I don't use an iPhone or a Mac or anything, but I love their streaming network. It's fantastic. Man, that is blurry. I wonder what's going on with that. Oh, well. Something to fix for next time. But, the thing about Netflix is that they spend all this money not just to have the quantity. I mean, the quantity is part of it, but because they can identify niches, right? So somebody who loves anime, or somebody who loves action movies, or somebody who loves action movies starring Liam Neeson, or somebody who loves action movies starring Liam Neeson set in Europe, or whatever. They've got, Netflix has all these niches that they've targeted and identified. And then the 17 billion doesn't just go to throwing spaghetti at the wall. It goes to creating these things that those certain segments will like. So true crime documentaries and movies and new shows and acquiring this or that licensed program. That's what Netflix's whole thing is. And so one of the things I've been talking about for a long time is, when you log into HBO Max, for instance, and a lot of things are this way. When you log into one of these other streaming services, you see all these amazing programs that appeal to a wide audience. And that is valuable. I love logging into HBO Max these days. But the other thing, on the opposite side, what Netflix does is instead of playing to a wide audience, they're playing to you. And so you log into Netflix and it feels like your Netflix. If you've ever had the experience of visiting someone else's house or whatever, using somebody else's login, you log into Netflix and it's like you're on a different planet because they're, likely, unless they're just like you, they're being targeted with different things. And so their queue, their suggested titles, whatever, it's completely different. If you've never had a chance to do that, I actually would recommend it. It's pretty remarkable to see what happens when you log into somebody else's Netflix. You do the same thing on HBO Max or Apple TV or whatever, and it's going to look really similar across both of your profiles, but not so with Netflix. Anyway, so there we go. I think this is our last question. Yeah, last question. Okay. I'm just checking the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Got some strong opinions coming in here. Okay, let's go ahead and do our last question. What is the most popular free app on Roku? Now, the apps are always free, right? You can download Netflix for free, but you got to pay to use it, right? So we're talking about free content, free apps. What is the most popular free app on Roku? So it's not Netflix. George says Netflix. Nope, you got to pay to watch Netflix. Let's see. And believe it or not, it is not the Roku app. Okay, let's see. Oh, you know what? So YouTube. I'm sure you meant to type YouTube. I always leave YouTube off because YouTube is a completely different beast. But that is a good guess, and it's a good call. But YouTube is in a category all on its own. So let's see. Roku. Here, somebody said it. Okay, there it is. Meredith said Tubi. Tubi is correct. Tubi is... Oh, you know what? Sorry, I'll come back to that in just a second. Let me write your name down, Meredith. Oh, okay. Meredith Wankum. And you're on Facebook. All right, we got a couple Facebooks today. All right. So, Tubi followed by Pluto. So, the reason why is pretty simple, and that it is that Tubi has been around the longest. Tubi was one of, if not the first, Netflix clones out there. So the way Tubi works, if you've never used it, it's just like Netflix, but they don't have the quality of the content is on average somewhat lesser, and it is commercial supported. Now, that's not to say they don't have some great content on Tubi. They do. They've got some really good content on Tubi. I'm just talking about on average. And it's commercial supported. And then Pluto TV is the first kind of cable satellite imitator, free cable and satellite imitator, where you've got live TV. You can scroll through a channel selection. You see a channel guide kind of the same way that you do with those traditional TV providers. And both of these were first in their genres. And I think that's why they still have the momentum that they do from that. That and like Pluto TV specifically, I guess I got a point over here. Pluto TV specifically is constantly adding new channels, new content, and it's gotten very good. If you haven't used it, you should. It's really good. Although now that Roku is doing what we're talking about, they're bringing in the Quibi shows. They're making their push for their own original content. I'm sure they're going to be spending money on creating their own content now, not just buying other people's. The Roku channel, I think, will probably end up overtaking these after some time. But for now, these are still our big two, Tubi and Pluto. So there you go. All right. Tubi is awesome, says Tatiana. Yep, I agree. Yeah, Tubi is really great. I think these are both very good. I don't really. I grew up with it. I used it through most of my 20s, and nowadays I just don't use the live TV thing anymore. Whether it's traditional or streaming. At least not on my own time. If I'm researching something for the YouTube channel, then I will. But for the most part, I don't do the live TV thing anymore. And Pluto kind of fits into that, where I'm just not very interested in live TV, scheduled TV. I'm much more of an on-demand person. So I use Tubi more than I use Pluto. But that's just me. So, all right. Oh, you feel lost. You've never heard of Tubi. Well, go check it out. Like I said, Netflix clone that's ad-supported. That's basically the elevator pitch. And so it's one of those things. If you're on a Roku or a Fire Stick or what have you, I always recommend that you have, at least a dozen, probably like 2 or 3 dozen different apps on that device, so that you can always go find something new. If you're doing the endless scroll on Netflix and you're like, I just can't find anything to watch. Well, then you've got, a million other options. And if you haven't watched our channel, then go back on YouTube in our archives and you can find, in fact, I just released this week, the top 10 hidden gems on Roku. We do top 10 free channels on Fire Stick and Roku and Chromecast and all of them. So yeah, go check it out. Andy says, the only thing I watch live is news and sports. And, I get that. I've been saying for a long time, those are the last holdouts for live TV. Once ESPN jumps ship and makes their full suite of channels available on a streaming network, say ESPN Plus, instead of $5 a month, they charge $10 or $15 a month and just put all of their channels on one streaming service. Live TV is done. It's over, or I should say, like traditional providers. There'll still be, they'll still hang on for a while because it's more difficult to stream this kind of content if you're in a rural setting or somewhere that doesn't get really fast internet. Then it might still make more sense to sign up for satellite or something. But yeah, once those sports channels, Fox Sports, ESPN, once they jump ship, it's all over. So, okay. All right, let's. So I guess we're done here. So, thanks for playing, everybody. And unfortunately, I gave out 8 points to 8 different people. So Jessica, Tatiana, Andy, David, Rhonda, Zachariah, Meredith, and SpongeBob. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know. I'm going to be watching now. I'll do this this stream for another 5 or 10 minutes. If you have any questions that you want me to answer in the next few minutes, let me know. I'll be watching for your names on here. And I'll bump you all to the top of the queue. As far as, Q&A stuff, to the top of the Q&A. There you go. Pick a number to break the tie. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I can do that. Maybe I'll... Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. You're a genius. All right. I have here my D&D dice. And we're going to pick out the 8-sided. There, that's 10-sided. There we go. Yeah, we'll do the 10-sided. All right. And basically, it's right down my... so, Jessica, you're number 1. Tatiana, you're 2. Andy, 3. David, 4. Rhonda, 5. Zachariah, 6. Meredith, 7. SpongeBob, 8. And if it lands on a 9 or 10, it's a re-roll. All right, here we go. Number 7. Number 7 is Meredith. Meredith, are you still with us? Meredith, your question will be bumped to the top of the list. Okay. Okay. So until we hear from Meredith, let's see. Let's see. How often should I change my Roku Express? Every 3 years. How do I feel about NFTs? I don't know anything about that stuff. It seems ridiculous, but I don't have enough info. Let's see. Meredith, yeah, all right, you are lucky number 7. So yeah, any question you might have, especially with regards to streaming, because that's my area of expertise, but also in any other area that the channel covers, we do TV and streaming, we do internet, we do both phones and phone plans, we do smart home and home security. Any of those areas, if you have any questions, let me know, and I will do my best to answer it during this stream, and if I can't, you will get a personalized answer from me elsewhere. Okay. So let's see. Who else do we have here? Okay, well, we're waiting for a good question there. How about, let's see, what's the best way to get ESPN, TNT, and regular channels like ABC, CBS, and NBC? Well, the best way, I mean, sign up for YouTube TV or Hulu Live or Sling TV or Fubo TV. Especially, I think Hulu Live and YouTube TV do the best with local channels. So if you want to get local channels rolled into there, you can. Or you can get any of those services and just go grab an antenna from Walmart or Home Depot or Amazon or whatever. You get an antenna. If you're close enough to the broadcast tower, then you just slap that antenna up on your window or your wall, and it'll pick up a signal for you. Okay. All right. What do I think will be the future of Apple TV? This is a great question. Excuse me. That's a great question. What do I think will be the future of Apple TV? I think, okay. Now, and keep in mind, okay, let's tilt this up just a little bit more because we're getting a little, all right, getting a little low there. I think, and obviously, like I say, keep in mind that Craig is always right? So go buy your Craig is always right mug today, Reviews.org. Yeah, all right. Totally worth your hard-earned money, I promise. It's great. So keeping in mind that I am always right, I think that Apple TV Plus is the next HBO. And it's going to take some time, but HBO took some time. HBO was this piddly little kind of backwater paid cable thing. I think what did it start back in the 90s, or sorry, the 80s, I want to say. And then HBO only became a thing like in the 90s. So they used to do kind of like HBO was most famous in its early days for like, the late night stuff, shall we say, right? HBO After Dark. And they got away from that and became a giant household name after they got into premium content. They put out The Sopranos and The Wire, and on and on. And it was... So I guess, sorry, I'm getting off track here. My point is just that HBO took some time to find its identity and to become a household name and to be known for amazing, marquee, hour-long drama content. Apple TV Plus, I think, will be the streaming version of HBO. HBO now, it's not like HBO is dead. Obviously, we have HBO Max, but HBO Max is, oh gosh, that is really blurry, isn't it? HBO Max is a little bit different in that it is, it's doing what I was talking about earlier. It's trying to be the, everything for everybody, and it's, it's pulling in all this Warner library content. And so it is going to, on purpose, it's going to shed some of that pure kind of HBO identity. And Apple TV Plus will pick that up. I think that will take another anywhere from 2 to 5 years for that to happen. Apple TV Plus needs to build up its library. It needs to get at least 3 to 5 more shows like Ted Lasso, which if you haven't watched, you must watch. It is the greatest thing I've seen in the last decade. Anyway, so they need a few more shows like that. And if they can get that reputation, then they don't need the thousands and thousands of titles that you find on Netflix or HBO Max or Disney Plus or whatever. They don't need that. They'll be known as that boutique, what am I trying to say? Premium content destination. That's my prediction. There you go. So we're in 2021 right now. I literally had to look at the calendar to make sure I was right. We're in 2021. By 2025, Apple TV Plus will be the new HBO. There you go. All right. Okay. HBO Max recommendation. Yeah, I'll do a couple more questions. Let's see. I'm going to take this one. Is that Jonah? Or Yona, if you're from Northern Europe, perhaps? Okay. So I'm going to go to my own HBO Max app, and we'll see what comes up. I can tell you some of the stuff I've been watching. So tell me a little bit more about your preferences. What do you want to watch? And you also asked, what do I like better, HBO Max or Netflix? I prefer HBO Max, but I don't get mad at anybody who says they prefer Netflix. It's all just according to your taste. Okay, so logging into HBO Max now for a recommendation. Okay, so I've got 2 kids, 7 and 4, and we've had a great time watching the old reruns of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Those are mostly, they've pulled a few individual episodes, but for the most part, I think it's like 8 seasons are on HBO Max. So that's good comedy. I love Friends, but that's a little too obvious. You know, everybody knows Friends is on there. Depending on how trashy you like your TV. One of my favorite shows, it's a Cinemax show. I think Cinemax is owned by AT&T as well, and so they pulled some of that content off there. But there's a Cinemax show called Banshee that I really liked. It's kind of it's almost like a Western style where, you know, guy comes into town, becomes the sheriff, has to clean up the town, but it takes place in Pennsylvania, and it's completely ridiculous, super soapy, and a ton of fun. You know, a lot of violence and nudity, so don't watch it with your kids, et cetera, et cetera. But I really like that one. Holy smokes. Sorry, I just saw this. HBO started in 1972. Wow. That's earlier than I thought. I figured it was in the 80s. But that kind of proves the point I was talking about earlier, which is HBO took a while to become HBO, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and I'll take one more. I'm going to scroll through here. Okay. No, I'm going to do 2 more because I do like this one. What are your thoughts on multilingual subtitles? Should I pick a supplier based on accessibility? That depends on you. Do you need multilingual subtitles? If it's, you know, if you are deaf or hard of hearing and you need those good subtitles, if you're blind and you want the accessibility features on your specific device, you know, to be able to do what you need it to do, then I would say yes, absolutely, choose based on that accessibility. But otherwise, I don't know, maybe if it's a cause that you are very passionate about. I'm having a hard time with words. Did you guys watch that old NBC show Chuck? There's a line from that always stuck in my mind. Words taste like peaches. Having a hard time today. Okay. Take one more. Okay. Here's one from Jessica. True crime things to watch, if any. Discovery Plus recommendations. Like I said, I am not the target market for Discovery Plus. There is stuff on there that I have watched and that I have enjoyed, and that there will be more things. I'm keeping it around. It's stuff that my wife loves and I sometimes love. But as far as true crime things to watch, if you haven't watched it yet, check out on Netflix, I think it is. Check out Murder Among the Mormons. That was a good one. It's a story. So I actually am in a suburb of Salt Lake City. And so I'm near Salt Lake City. I've lived here since the mid 90s. And so, Utah is home to me. And this is a story from the 80s about a guy who forged a bunch of documents and would sell them to the highest bidder, often the church itself. And he was about to get caught and took drastic action and killed some people. And it was a harrowing story. It was not pleasant for people who had to live through it. I didn't. And I'd kind of heard about it a little bit, but never knew the details of the story. So I think it's a 4-part documentary, and I thought it was really well done. I thought it was very interesting. It was made by Jared Hess, the guy who made Napoleon Dynamite, if I'm getting my facts right. So yeah, it's really well done. Recommended. If you like true crime stuff, then yeah, go for that one. You know what I didn't enjoy also on Netflix was the one about the hotel in LA, the Hotel Cecil. It's a famous hotel that, maybe haunted, and there's this thing that happened and this girl disappeared. And it was all kind of interesting, but just as a storytelling exercise, it was really very bad, very disappointing. I felt the same way about there's a documentary about the QAnon movement on HBO Max, and I was like, I don't really know much about this. I'll watch this thing about QAnon, and it answered very few questions and was very bad at storytelling, and yeah, didn't much care for it. So okay. So David says True Crime Dateline NBC in 2020 every Friday night. Yeah, hey, we've all got our routines. That's good. Okay, so we're gonna call it there. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Oh gosh, we went almost an hour. That's fantastic. Hope to see you next week. Don't forget to go check out check out this week's giveaway. Last week's winner is Tristan Gomez. So Tristan, I hope you're watching. But Tristan Gomez, you won the Fire Stick 4K. We'll be emailing Tristan as well. For those of you watching today, make sure you tune in next week to find out if you won. We email the winners also, but we'd love to let you know here on the live stream so we can celebrate with you. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. I'll see you again next week. Hopefully I can get my camera to actually focus on my face. I don't know. I'm not hopeful. I just need to find a way to get it closer. Anyway, all right. I'll see you guys next